So I pulled anchor. I'm going to try and move to a little bit calmer spot, wait for a couple more hours for high tide. I called Towboat US. They said that there was a ceremony just on the 26th for New Pass, but I'd have to have the bridge raised and it's completely unmarked. And they said no charts, no avionics, nothing is not showing the correct location for the dredge, but it is freshly dredged. They said with good light should be able to see where it's dredged, but there's nothing to mark or indicate. There's no markers on Big Pass, but the yacht club does keep up coordinates that I've copied down to follow that out. The John Ringling Causeway and Bridge. It's supposed to be 65 feet. I don't know that that looks like 15 feet to me, but got a list of coordinates to follow to get out of Big Pass, which is this up here because of the shallow and moving sands. Fiesta Key. Trying to slip out Big Pass based on the coordinates. They've been hard to follow and unexpected based on the old charts. I got Catalina that I've been trying to talk with. Looks like a massive fire down there at the end of Siesta Key. And there's Sarasota Beach. Now this is really showing how much I'm a fair weather lake sailor. I was hoping for a much calmer. And I had thought that the worst would be at the beginning. Now predictions showing that the wave might get a little worse before it gets better. I'm just going to come out here. Oh well, I'm here now, passing Venice, Florida, and we're roughly at sunset, but it's so overcast, won't actually get a good sunset at sea. One thing I don't like about being on a boat is when storms and lightning show up. But somewhere right over there is Captiva Island. Drip of water down here, little trail, but that's very gradual, probably comparable to most dripping we call it packets. So I had to run away from the storm, and now I'm trying to slowly make my way back towards land. And there's this bright white light. It was way over here, and it's come around. I don't know what it is. Captiva Island. So mainsail is up only, trying to get over here to the inlet. Wind is very light and almost on the nose, so Jenna wouldn't sail. But here is Captiva Islands. Here at Ponca Grande Inlet to Charlotte Harbor. There's a lot of fishermen out here. out an inlet. Heavily reefed Genoa, 2 reefs on the main, and motoring all together now making over 2 knots. Now to start for tack, just quickly get across to the north side, so I can tack back in. Try and head on in. Tired, hungry, thirsty. Just need to get this thing stopped somewhere safely too. So I've made it into Burnt Store Marina. And Burnt Store Marina, it comes in through a very shallow passage. I'm at high tide, up about 2 feet. And it was fairly close, about 7 feet in a few places. So I'll definitely have to be on high tide to get back out. There's a lot of boats in here. Anyway, be here a little bit while figuring out insurance perhaps for the cracks in the hull. The tide should be high enough to get out of Burnt Store. And so now I'm going to cast some lines, try and spring off of here, and wind's gentle, so pull back right into it, and then try and follow my way out. See that long bank and islands? They were underwater when I came in, now they're showing. And Charlotte Harbor is a massive bay. Genoa is open. Pretty light breeze, really good angle. I may go ahead and cut the engine off and see how that goes. Angle is almost broad enough to open the main. I wasn't sure if it was going to be. We'll see how this goes. I definitely need to replace my wind indicator. We've got full sail up, doing 2.1 knots. The wind is pretty darn light, but I'm moving. And moving with very little heel. This is actually very comfortable. It's just when you're trying to make a tide schedule, I do got to keep checking to make sure I'm not going to fall behind the tide times. May have to motor sail at some point. So the sails went slack, and as you can see, the wind indicator is puffing and just, it is still moving, but this is light air. And if I had a crew, I could do a sail change to lighter sails and try and take advantage of it. But I think I'm going to turn on the motor. You can see the Tamiami Bridge in the distance for Punta Gorda. And we'll head this way towards Port Charlotte.
They might be fornicating, Carlton. I know. Last week, I don't know, I was out sailing with some other people, and the wind wasn't so, and these dolphins were around, and they were acting weird. They were like one little baby was so happy and going up in the air, but then there were like some adults just kind of twirling around together. We were like, are they eating? No, they don't eat like that. You know, then I passed somebody else. They're like, did you see those dolphins getting it on? Sex. Dolphins have sex just for fun. They not only to procreate.
Ah, so they actually keep that brain space occupied.
That's an interesting tidbit.
Yep. I got the camera run. I may have to dub over that, or maybe I'll just let that be a little bit of nature lesson.
It's just nature. Let's not about that.
Oh, now they're closed. Just pulled up the Danforth lunch hook that I had dropped to get some things ready for the lock, and let tide come in just a little bit more. The harbor up to South Gulf Cove Lock, back into the canal with the mangroves. Just barely enough water for some boats to anchor. This is Interceptor Light. This Santa Cruz waterway is unbelievably narrow. Dead on right, around the sign. We're motoring on down the Santa Clara Canal lock system. Osprey up there. Final turn down to the 2 yards. Oh, the fun of solo docking in a narrow space. Not at all. So I snagged one line on here, and next to see if I can throw a line from the bow, and then I figure I'll get the back last. Got it that try. Alright, cleated. What are you doing on my boat? Really? Really, what are you doing on my boat? Are you a crew or not? You keep hopping on and off. Oh, South Florida. Getting hauled out at Charlotte Harbor Boat Storage for their work yard access. So I'll be able to get my cracked prop shaft tube fixed. Well, they've got me out of the water. Now to kind of look and see what the bottom looks like and all the other particulars. See how the boat's been sitting in the water, where the mud line is. Some barnacles all in some weird places, some growth. A lot of barnacles. So Brady just measured my mud line to the concrete and said it's about 5'7", maybe a little more, but definitely less than 6, which is good to know. Sure my mud line looks pretty level. So now that I'm out of the water, I can set the rudder straight. About to drop it. Now we can see how this is with the quadrant and the wheel. Find out how bad we made missed assumptions at Seabrook. If this is from running aground, if the aggressiveness of the sand actually took enough bottom paint off that it allowed barnacles to go crazy underneath there. But you can see they are an organism. You got some flesh inside.